Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and as you can see, today we'll be playing around with this planes mod and also getting ourselves some power storage set up. Oh man, we were long due for this, so I hope you guys are ready. Hey guys, real quick, just wanted to let you guys know that if you haven't already become a patron, all it takes is a single $1 over on Patreon and you get access to all of the world downloads, including today's world download. So if you are a patron already, be sure to get that world download. Of course, it'll be linked down in the description below and should also be down pinned in the comments section for the most part. Also, at the time of this video, you can also catch me over on twitch.tv/ChosenArchitect. So be sure to head on over there after you finish this video, and I should be live streaming. So guys, let's get on with today's video. So today I wanted to kind of kick things back and look at some of the things in this pack that are a little bit, you know, different from the progression. They're a little bit just kind of out there and just to have some fun. And I want to have some fun. Like, that's something I want to do. So let's take a look at this. This is the planes mod, and I'm not really interested in the plane as much as I am the helicopter. But there is a helicopter, like straight up a helicopter. I don't know how these things fly. Like, do they fly like something from GTA? There's a wrench. I'm assuming that probably knocks it down into its base form. But we're gonna need a plane workbench. It does have a nice little book here, which is kind of convenient. Talks a little bit right here about how to make this. We're definitely gonna need some propellers. This needs 2 propellers. Also, we do have a quest book here that sort of is taking us through the ropes. But I was looking, if this floaty bed, I hope this like allows, like, does this allow like the helicopter to float on water? Like, I have no idea. There's also an electric engine. And there is a furnace engine. I don't really know what's best. This takes 2 furnace engines, which of course require these blast furnace. Ooh, I'm gonna have to craft these. So let's go ahead and place this workbench down just for a moment, just so we can kind of see what is going on here. So if I put that in there, it needs an engine, right? Or is it 2 of these per the engine? If we click on the helicopter, yeah, it's 2 and then 7 of whatever color wood planks that we want to use from what it looks like. I'm assuming it's going to take on the color of the planks, but it may not. And that just gives us a regular helicopter. Now, how do we upgrade this thing with the engines? I guess that's something that you do outside, externally. So let's do this. I went ahead and made, we're about to make the furnace that this thing needs to run. There we go. There's one of them. And we take 2 propellers or props and slap those together. Let's see, props right here. And according to the book, if we hit X, we should be able to access this. So this, it does take on the color. So I made it a driftwood color, but you can make a plane. I'm going with the helicopter because I think the helicopter would be way cooler. Also, I have the floaties. This is actually a upgrade. Now, I don't know. I guess you have to right click on. So if we place the helicopter up here, that'd probably be the most stable place to put it. Excuse me. We place it on the ground. Oh, that's kind of cool. We place this on it. Oh, now it can float. And we click that on there. And now we're ready to go, basically. I don't know if the controls are set. But if we get inside, we can hit X. We're supposed to. And that's supposed to allow us to get inside. Let me look at the controls real quick and get those configured. So apparently there's only 2 controls. We have the space bar, which is kind of scary. We have spacebar and we have the X key. X key opens up the fuel, so we put the fuel in. And then do we just like... Oh. So how do we go down? Surely it's not shift, because that gets us out of the plane. Is it X? No, X opens the menu. Oh no, oh, we just hold down. Okay. So we just hold down. Ooh, look at this. Very cool. And we should be able to land on the water here. What an interesting movement. Like, it's actually kind of cool. But we can apparently land on water. Ooh, look at that. Which is kind of nice, because if we want to go like searching for stuff, of course I can fly, but who doesn't want to use a helicopter? Like, oh, and apparently you can apply guns to this thing and like shoot stuff, which is pretty cool. I like the way the driftwood looks on this though. It's not horribly hard to control. I mean, it's just how you would think it would need to go. Like, you hold down forward, Apparently you can put boosters on here as well. And boosters, of course, help you out. Kind of interesting. I'm guessing the regular plane is sort of the same way. But I just know helicopters are just so much more... They're so much easier to control in games. And there we go. I'm like a pro pilot from like those war games. Oh my goodness. Yeah, and there we go. We can just dock this thing right up next to the base. And you guys can, of course, play with this in the Patreon world download, which is kind of cool. So there you go. It's just going to chill out there. So interesting. Like, these are just little tiny mods that are in here that are just like, I don't know, just cool to like just kind of experiment with and play with, you know? So enough of the fun stuff. We're going to be diving into, well, of course, this is going to be fun as well, but we're going to be diving into mass power storage, and that's going to allow us to upgrade our power sources here soon. That way we definitely have a place to store power and we're not just wasting things, because one of the big generators in here is going to be, surprisingly, a nether star generator. There is a nether star generator that is going to generate up to 4,000 RF per tick. I don't know if these can receive upgrades or anything like that, but just one of them for a nether star every 2 minutes, which we definitely produce more nether stars than that every 2 minutes, more than one, is going to generate 4,000 RF per tick, or FE per tick, or the same thing. So we need a place to house all this power that I plan on making, so we're not really wasting nether stars. I don't really want to waste nether stars. I would like to store that power that it generates so we can have it for things later on, right? So one of the best ways to store power, I think, at the moment, for us, is going to be making a multi-block for mechanism. And this mechanism multi-block is going to allow us to store a lot of power. And it requires these things. It's basically an induction multi-block. So we're going to have providers and cells that we need to put inside of the induction casings, and we have induction ports. So we would basically have 2 induction ports. One is going to be, well, they're both the same, but you can change them to input and output. And then we're going to have a bunch of induction casings, which is going to house our induction cells and our induction providers. Now, these 2 things do different things. Like, we need to make sure that we know what these things do. If we were to put like a maximum ultimate induction cell and just 1 induction provider, we are going to be limited by the amounts that these house. So just keep that in mind. Like, this output rate is going to be our limiting factor, and our capacity here is going to be a limiting factor, which is 1.6 TFE, which stands for billion. This is 1.6 billion that it can hold. But we can actually fill this thing with more than one of these cells. Keep in mind, though, if you only have 1 provider, you're still going to be limited with 52 million RF as your output rate, and I believe input rate. But you can have multiple induction cells and keep 1 induction provider. But the more of these you put in there, the higher that output rate goes, I believe. And the more of the cells you put in, of course, the larger storage you're going to have. So, yeah, this thing can house. All it has to do is be covered with these casings, and we're good to go. So we need to get some auto crafting set up for these things. There is no way I want to spend time making these, but there is a prerequisite. Keep in mind, we have to do something first. We have to make lithium dust. So at the moment, we don't have a good way of making lithium dust. We have to get into the multi-block that is going to produce lithium. Luckily for us, I believe lithium is actually required later on down the road. We're going to need lithium ingots for the crafting. So we do need need lithium anyways. So we might as well get this going. This is going to require the boiler or the thermal evaporation system. And we're going to need 2 thermal evaporation setups for this. Also, we're going to need some advanced solar panels. So like I said, auto crafting. Yeah, we're about to dive into that. I'm probably not going to auto craft these things as they're pretty simple in production. But I will set up auto craft for all this once we get the lithium set up. So let's take a look at the lithium. Also, I do need to make the solar panels because these do work faster if you have advanced solar panels. They're not needed, but the advanced solar panels are useful. Let's just put it that way. So I know it's been a while since I've built one of these, you know, just like literally last Let's Play, but these things can be kind of interesting. They are a 4x4, I believe. And what we're going to do is we'll have a controller basically placed here. I'm going to have an input valve that is going to go right here. And then we can just go ahead and have an export valve here. Or actually, you know what? Probably running the export through the back would not be a bad idea. So placing it right here. You can kind of set this up to whatever pleases you and whatever fits your the area you're working in. But as of right now, we'll have this valve going here, so that way we can run it into this valve over into 2 of these, because we will need 2 of them. This is going to generate brine, and then this brine is going to be generated into a variant of lithium, and then we need to convert that lithium with a rotary condenser or condensator. We need to, I believe, decondensatrate it. We basically need to swap it from, I believe, a liquid to a gas, or a gas to a liquid, one of those. And then that goes into a chemical crystallizer, which thus generates that lithium dust that we see. So to do this, I'm probably going to set that just like this. Have these oh, I didn't realize that. Just have these go kind of like parallel to each other, which is perfect. They fit just like perfect right here. And then we just need to fill in the rest of this. I'm sorry, you gotta go. Now, I'm trying to remember how tall these are. I think they are 3 tall, like this. Okay, so this equals 1. But if we do this, and then in these corners, place down the solar panels. Let's see, let's go to mechanism. I have the advanced solar panels should be done. We have 8 of them, and which we will probably be pulling the power from these. This is just going to be something that adds power. If we place them down, this is also going to add to this multi-block and make this go even faster. So yes, this is a thing. But those red particles, that lets you know that, hey, this is a basic version. So this one is a complete basic multi-block. But then again, we can place these here. I don't know if they need to be placed first. Oh, will it not let me place them? They're too close together? Oh, I have to rebuild. I have to rebuild them. I'm going to move them 1 block over. That way they both fit. So just like this, we should complete the multi-block, thus seeing the redstone, and the screen should turn on. So this is what we want to see. Now, we basically need to take our ender tank that we have set up for fluids. This is the ender tank, and it is set to all blue, I believe. I think I have. I don't know. We probably need to make wool that is all blue, right? Let's go ahead. Wool. Make it all blue. We'll just make a whole stack because we'll probably need it later on. Ender tank, and then this will be our water ender tank. This is like the best. Basically, instead of making multiple sinks, I am going about it this way, which may seem a little weird, but it is actually it works really well. So is it this blue? I'm so confused now on what blue it is. It's back here. Oh, it's white blue. Okay. Well, I'll fix that now. So basically, we're going to place this next to this. This is going to be our infinite water source that is going to run into this. So all we need is some white, and we can swap this, and this will be water. I love how this mod works. This has been around for so long, and it just works. And then we need the mechanism pipes. We can probably get away with regular pipes here, and mechanism configurator. Yeah, we should be able to get away with just using regular pipes. I don't think that the flow is going to be that crazy, right? I mean, it's going in. Once this fills up, we'll be fine. And then we need to carry this over. So let's just go ahead and do it like this. And up. And basically we're going to send the brine that this is now generating. This is generating brine, by the way. In case you didn't know, you got to click on here. This is the brine. The brine needs to go into this. And then this, using the power of the sun, no power involved here, is just going to work. It's just going to convert this over into liquid lithium. And then we need to convert that liquid lithium using the rotary condensator. Now this requires power. So I'm going to set this back here. And I believe we can just route this because this is still going to be a liquid. We can route this to it. And then whatever's sent from this needs to be sent into the crystallizer. And I'm probably going to place this up here. And we just need to send what this outputs up into this. And then just have a chest over here somewhere that is receiving that that lithium. So let's get this powered. We can probably do this with just 1 point, saving us a little bit by placing the point right here. That should work. Now, I think I have to toggle the operation. Yeah, toggle the operation, and then it's going to send it this way. I just need to make sure, because I placed this machine down, we need to make sure the side is properly configured. I want to make sure the output is going on this side, which, as you can see, it looks like the output is properly going to the right side, going to the proper side. So because of that, we need to send it up here. I'm pretty sure we're going to need a pipe, a gas pipe now. Let's see. A pressurized tube. So the pressurized tube is going to send that into this. Make sure that is the case. There we go. And then this is going to start generating that lithium. And because we place this machine this way, we want to make sure that we can output that into a chest. So it can be a chest of any kind. It doesn't really matter, so long as we have something for it to go into. And item pipe. Honestly, let's use mechanism because it just everything flows together. So logistical transporter. Set that up. Also remove the back because we don't. It just bugs me to have that there. And there we go. We have that logistical transporter going in. We need to make sure that this blue side is set to output on this side. And by doing so, there we go. We have lithium dust that is now being generated and going directly into this chest. We could set this up to go into our ender chest. Honestly, that'd probably be a good option. Instead of just a regular chest, let's go ahead and make a white ender chest. Because that's where everything is flowing into anyways. This will go directly into our system if we put that there. And look at that. Automated lithium. Now we can get into some bigger and better things, which is going to be our mass power storage. So at this point, I have started the autocraft. Now, one of the cool things you can make from refined storage that'll actually help you see the progress of things is a crafting monitor. This will let you kind of see how your stuff is flowing, and also let you see what the bottlenecks are. So these things right here are kind of the bottlenecks. I definitely know that the smelting process is a bottleneck. I eventually, once we get this power storage set up, I think moving forward, I will eventually swap out what we're using for smelting at the moment and move into mechanism. It's going to be way faster to smelt with mechanism than anything else, especially when we upgrade those things into factories, and it just can smelt so much more. So this is kind of leaving us with this. Now, if we take a look at it, this is a pretty expensive process. I think this was like, it was like almost 80 some odd energy cubes, basic energy cubes that need to be made. That's a lot. There's a lot, a lot of steel. And this is only one part of this to make it an ultimate. Of course, we didn't have to go with an ultimate. I decided to go with an ultimate. But you can make it however big or small you want. This will allow us to keep it nice and compact. And I think, 1 billion RF backup storage is quite a lot. So, and of course we can always expand later on once we have more residual resources or we want to craft more stuff. So I'm waiting for this to process. And then after this is done processing, I'm also going to craft the other component to this. And that is going to be, if we take a look, so we have the provider, which is what we're crafting right now. I'll end up making the induction cell, which is going to be another lengthy craft. But it's honestly better than me doing it by hand. This is way better. And I couldn't imagine crafting these things without auto crafting. Oh, I've literally been waiting here for it to finish. I didn't finish. Oh man, I've been waiting here for at least over 30 or 40 minutes, watching some YouTube videos and enjoying some snacks. So pretty nice as I was waiting for that to get done. It really put a dent in our redstone, I think. Oh yeah, no, never mind. It barely touched the redstone, even though it seemed like it used like 8,000 redstone each for this thing. Okay. Now that is completed, we need to know, we know now that we have 2 blocks, right? So these 2 blocks are going to go into this multi-block, and normally this multi-block would be a little bit larger if you were using like more of the smaller ones, but because we're using 2 of the largest ones, it's not going to be very large at all, which means we need enough to basically cover these 2 blocks, and we're going to need a spot for the induction ports. And I believe that's it. I don't think there's an induction controller or anything. So basically, I will have the induction provider. This is going to be connected to the induction ports. We're going to have 2 of those connected to this. And let's go ahead and see if we can make this. Let's see, induction casings. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, minus 2, which is 8, plus this many. So I think in total we need 12. Like that's pretty straightforward, right? We need 12 induction casings. So I can go ahead and autocraft this. This is just going to need the steel. And then we can start to build this thing. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of the smallest induction setups. Like it's going to be one of the smaller ones. But it is going to pack a punch. Now we're going to have to talk a little bit about network management, and yeah, we have some network managing to do. We're going to have to create a separate network so that we have input power and output power. So hopefully that's not going to be too difficult to change. I would rather change out my plugs than change out my output power. So there we go. Those are done. And all I have to do is craft this, which I do have this technically set up to craft. So it is going to take that and be done with it. Let's check. It may have actually been, yeah, it was actually pretty cool, pretty quick. Oh, that left me with 4 and then 8. Okay, I think this is enough. If not, I'll make some more. But I need to figure out where I'm going to place this thing. Where is this little thing going to go? Do we place it up here? Like, do we place it inside of our tower? Like in the middle here? Next to all the sirens? Surely not. Like, surely we can place this somewhere else. You know what? Honestly, this may be the best place to put it. So, oh, now that I think about it, it does have to be a solid structure. So I am going to need a fair few more induction casings. But let's go ahead and take a look at this, how I'm going to set this up. I think on the bottom, I'm going to place the provider. And then on the top, I'm going to place the induction cell. And they do connect. But make sure, I believe you have to hook up the ports to the provider. So they are next to it. And then we just cover this thing. And it should join a multi-block. I need to make some more induction casings. So if all has worked correctly, I should be able to place the last one, and there we go. It now completes. And you can see when we right-click on it anywhere, we have a few options. Now, the configurator is where things get interesting. We can take our configurator and shift right-click on here and set this side to output, where now this side is set to input. And we do have that 50, I think it was like 50 million transfer. Yeah, the 52 million transfer limit. Like that's per tick. That's a lot. I don't think we're going to be even touching that number. But storing this large quantity is going to be really, really handy. However, our storage methods are going to change. We need a plug. So let me go ahead and make a plug here. I don't know if I have all the necessary stuff to make that. Let's go ahead and craft it. Now we will. So this plug is going to be a little bit different, and we're also going to have a point that is going to be a little bit different as well. So we're going to have to create ourselves a new network. This is where a lot of people, I think, get confused. I've had a lot of people mentioning in the comments how I have done like Draconic Evolution setups with giant energy balls in the center, and how I set that up. This is the same sort of premise. We have an energy source, which means we're going to need 2 networks. So as of right here, this thing is generating power in the back, and that power is going into the network called main. I can change that network name over here in network settings, and let's go ahead and change this to, we'll have an input and output. Because this network is set up the way it is, I technically just want to change this network to input or to output. And then we're going to create a new network. And we're going to set the output to red. That way our green is our input. However, this network is going to be changed. Let's go ahead and create a new network. And we're going to call this one output. Or yes, no, input. So input here, make sure to set that to public, and I'll set it to green. So we have an output and an input network. In this case, I want to leave all of my power sources. I want to leave all of them set to this, so I don't have to go and change all my power sources. I have way more points than I have plugs, which means that I'm going to set this plug to input to go into the input network. It is, however, going to break our network temporarily. So I'm going to leave it for right now. I'll talk about this in a second. I'm going to try and make this as non-confusing as possible. Now, since this is going to be changed to our green network, we're going to need a plug that is going to input power into this casing. So, or a point. This point is now going to be set to that new input network. This should be the only point that you make on this network that is green. You should no longer anywhere else use a point that is going to be green. However, plugs, any other power source is going to need to be changed to green on your plugs. Make sure to disable limit, and we can add chunk loading. It's not a big deal. And this one is basically set up and ready to go to receive power. Now on our plug, this is where we are going to basically receive power and send it to all of our red points. And for this, it needs to be set to the output. This should be now the only plug that you use that is red. All of your points, however, should be red. And of course, disable limit because we don't want this to be limited by anything. And there we go. Now we should be able to flip this over. This power source right here needs to be flipped over, and any other thing that we are using to receive power needs to be changed to this input method here, or input selection. So we change that to green. Now power should be flowing into this. However, we're not going to notice any going into it just yet because we have to change all of our other power sources and also need to be kind of on a net gain as far as power goes. So I need to go around and find all of my power sources, like this, for example. This needs to be changed to input. This needs to be changed to input. These are receiving power from here. And then, of course, this big one down here is definitely going to need to set to input. So now we can see all of our power that is going in. Also, disable limit on these. That is a big thing. This one right here, it definitely has a limitation. The cables is a limitation, but the limit that we had set is definitely a limitation, which is no good. No good. We definitely don't want to limit there. And I think that's it as far as power goes. Let's check up here. This should now be storing power. Yeah, we see now that power is starting to be stored, and we can see how much power we're actually generating. Technically, we're not generating that much power. That is coming out of the cables. I think eventually these cables will fully deplete, and then that number will no longer be that way because all of our power is going to be stored inside here. There we go. Pretty nice. And this plug, I mean, we'll have a better statistic now on our input and output rate because everything as far as power goes is going to be statistically shown here on this input and output, which is pretty nice. So I found out what the issue was. There was a point that was hooked to this cable, which went up here and then connected into this advanced universal cable. All of that was linked over here and basically was creating a loop. And so all I had to do was break this cable, apply a point specifically to my controller, making sure this is all now on its own power system, and we have nothing like looping, which is what it was doing. It was looping our power. So now we should see a more realistic version of what this should look like up here as far as power input goes. And no longer should we see that like crazy like 8,000. Now we see the exact number, and we can look at our statistics here. And like I said, better see what our power usage is. And that is very nice to see. And we can see those fluctuations there. But yeah, that's our usage overall. And of course, we can monitor that not just from there, but we can monitor it from our controller that is inside our base, which is probably the best way to do it. I have a controller in here somewhere. It's like tucked in one of the hallways or one of the stairwells right here. So yeah, we can use this to now monitor pretty much everything, which is really, really nice. So I hope you enjoyed today's video and maybe learned something new. If you did, of course, you can click that subscribe button. But I do want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor of today's video, and that's going to go to Dominic Orr. I believe that's how it's supposed to be pronounced. But anyways, thank you so much for your amazing support over on Patreon, going above and beyond to support this channel and allowing these videos to continue longer than I would normally continue them. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you did, be sure to click that subscribe button. Also give this video like the biggest thumbs up you've ever given a video. Like maybe we can get like, I don't know, at least 1,000 likes on this video. I would love to see like potentially 1,000 likes. Can we do that? I don't know if that's possible. But But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Of course, if you are a Patreon, be sure to get your world download. That will, of course, be linked in the description below. And guys, I'll see you in the next episode. Of course, as always, thanks for watching.